What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today I got one of my best friends, Mark with a C, with me. We're going to talk about the character Reva from the Kenobi series. There's a lot of stuff floating around, the interwebs, on Twitter, in articles about this character, Reva, Moses Ingram. And I'm like, I'd like to have a discussion about this and see. Now, if you don't know who Mark is, the channel to find the gospel is in the top of the description. It's also in the pinned comment. And I've said this before. He's got some hot takes. Everyone.
Yes,
so if
sir.
you're not ready for the hot cake takes, don't subscribe. But I think you will find his channel very enlightening and real. That's what we need nowadays. We need somebody that tells it like it is and is not afraid to hold back. So go subscribe to my friend Mark with a C. All right, you saw Kenobi.
Yes, I experienced it. Yes, I did. I had the Kenobi experience. What the hell?
So that's a whole nother topic. Let's just zero in on Reva. First impressions. What you got for me?
Okay. We'll just start with the character, okay? Because there's a whole phenomenon around this right now. And it's by design, I believe. But we'll just keep it basic to start off. The character. It is not well drawn, the character. Now, I understand. I hear people already. It's only 2 episodes. I get it. But her motivations are like very unclear. Like, she comes onto the scene. Automatically, she's pissed off. You know, you don't see any type of foreshadowing going on. Like, you know, what she might be going for, like what it is. I mean, she's got to be shrouded in mystery. I do understand that, but there's just something here. And I don't know if it's because of the actress, because I feel like the actress is trying, Moses Ingram, but for some reason, her line delivery, it lacks conviction, you know? Like, what's going on with her is she has the ability or the potential to betray the Grand Inquisitor and everything. But I mean, it doesn't ring true, man. It's like she's second guessing him from the minute she gets there. She's insulting him. How is she getting away with this? You know, it just brings up so many different questions.
I think she's trying too hard to be a like a nemesis, I'm a bad person. Like, don't mess with me. And the fact that the acting is not convincing to many people, I don't blame the actor. That's the directors, like the lines, the writing, all that. That's why when a lot of people were like upset with Hayden Christensen with Attack of the Clones, and there was a lot of cheese in that, you know, a lot of cheesy lines. I don't really blame the actors for that, because at the end of the day, the director put that on the screen, what we saw. If they weren't happy with what they were doing, they could have easily have said, take 2, take 3, take lunch. Let's
and with Hayden though, what he had going for him was that we knew the story that he was getting into. We knew what was going to happen with Anakin, the Darth Vader thing. Like, we understood, and we knew like he was going to turn to the dark side, stuff like that. Like with her, she just comes in like, and we don't know. Like, we see no vulnerability. Like, every good villain has to you got to see a little bit of their motivation. You know, most good villains don't even really consider themselves to be villains. It's like she came in like, yeah, I hate all of you. You are all gonna hate me, and it was just too much, bro.
Yeah, you know, I just think exactly. It was just kind of like, we don't. It just was going everywhere, and you just weren't sure where she was going with that. Yeah, she was angry. She wasn't following directions. She just did her own thing. She was very aggressive, but it came off, for me, it came off very flat. I personally thought the Kenobi series was just flat out boring. It's like, usually I rate shows on rewatchability, but that's a whole nother live stream that we'll talk about. I just like, if you're gonna rewatch it over and over again, I think it's good. Whether it's a silly movie, whether it's a fun movie, if you could rewatch it over and over, to me, that means you made it good. If it's a one and done and you're like, yeah, that's it, then it doesn't make it good. But there's something else at play here, Mark. You can't criticize Reva
Yeah.
online, or people will be mad. Some people will be a little upset with you. And we're seeing that, of course, play out on Twitter. I'm going to show you a tweet here from this gentleman. Again, he has a right to his own opinion. I'm not attacking the person who made the tweet, but there's a lot of stuff like this going on out there. Basically, he says there's a lot of hate going towards Reva after the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan. I'm going to need y'all to get the F over it. First of all, he's yelling at us like, get over it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think his motive is not because we're criticizing the character. He's basically saying the character is ambitious, ruthless, and clearly has vendetta. I know y'all like your black characters in the background, but those days are over. So it feels a little more personal towards him about the attack on Reva. But he does follow up with a tweet saying, like, if you don't like the character, just be more conscious on how you critique the performance compared to her peers. Like, just that's what you should. And I agree, that's what you should do. Like, you should critique everyone.
Right.
Some of the comments are, people are like, well, nobody hated these people. It starts to talk about race, the color of their skin. These some of these comments are just like, I just don't think she pulls off what the writers are trying to portray. It has nothing to do with her skin tone. Mary comes out and says, that's exactly how I feel. I like her character, but it feels out of place. And so people are just coming out saying, it's not about race. It's about her character. Yeah, I mean, we could go on. Some of the things are funny. Some of them are not funny.
Yeah.
How odd these characters are not hated. It's almost like skin color had nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah.
So he puts some characters up. And then we have this article here from We Got This Covered, where it talks about one Obi-Wan Kenobi character is splitting opinions right down the middle. But the first opinion is from this guy named Bacon, called Bacon Bits. He says, unfortunately, as the trailer suggests, the third sister is mediocre cringe fest. No, it's not because she's black. Her acting is bad. And he talks about the balcony jumping scene. That's cringe. They're trying so hard to make her interesting when the Grand Inquisitor was looking great. Now, these are filled with multiple of tweets saying that they love the show. Like, Deborah Chow knocked it out of the park, but they can't stand Reva because of the acting. She reminds me of Hayden in Attack of the Clones. I'm sorry, I can't take Reva seriously. Kenobi episode was lit, but the third sister is the worst, and the acting is atrocious. Then you have those that said the third sister is amazing. This one says, everyone give it up for the absolute genius known as Reva, the third sister. People are allowed to dislike things. Wrong. Nobody's allowed to dislike Reva. The third sister, obviously making a joke here. This one here says, after watching the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, no spoilers, the third sister is the most insufferable character ever developed by Star Wars, and I'll die on that hill. Yeah, more so than Jar Jar and anything that happened in the sequels.
Ooh, that's saying a lot.
That's
saying a lot.
Do you think there was like a narrative built to keep people from criticizing, like, the the character Reva, because you don't want to be called names or anything like that? Or is that just it's just internet stuff? Or
100%, yes, they did this on purpose. This is just more of the same of what Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars does. They're in the business of separating people for some reason. We saw it with The Last Jedi, and this has the potential to be even worse. I have never, ever, and I don't know, any of the viewers might be able to tell me, I have never seen a studio get ahead of the actual production this way to say, prepare yourself for the racist backlash. When have you ever seen this? When she goes out for publicity, you have Entertainment Tonight asking her, so what did they do to prepare you for the racist backlash? What? Like, she's the first black actress ever to be in a motion picture or a television show? That's who you would ask a question like that. You're breaking down barriers. You're the first one. So how did you prepare for it? Wait, you're Jackie Robinson, something like that? No. And the fact that her line delivery is so terrible, we wouldn't be the only ones who have seen this. I think somebody there, in the studio somewhere in production said, this is how we're going to do this. if anyone is going to critique her or something like that, we'll be ready with the toxic fandom thing. That's how it
Yeah.
seems to me.
And
What?
just to be clear, everyone, we both agree that there are idiots and dum-dums out there that will have alternative motives because they're just stupid. And yes, those people should be ridiculed. But yeah, to get in front and just say, if people criticize you,
Yeah, I won't be deflected that way. It's like, okay, racism exists. What's that got to do with us as fans? You know? It's
yeah,
like that's a whole other topic. Don't bring this over here. We have the right to critique what it is that we see. I'm not going to answer for that, and neither should you. Nobody should. I don't care if you're black, white, or anything else. So that guy, who you highlighted his tweet and
yeah,
everything like that, he said it the way he wanted to say it the first time. He
yeah,
might have tried to walk it back and everything, but to me, it's a deflection. It's a waste of time. And who's y'all? Who's y'all? As
yeah.
usual, he's going directly towards white people, and totally ignoring the fans like me, as usual. You know what I mean? So the man is being combative, and it's tragic because they're falling into the trap. Akbar, it's a trap. This is what they do. So here we are. Here we are now.
So then we have this from Data Racer 117. This was from the Independent. Moses Ingram was like, Obi-Wan is going to bring the most diversity I think we've ever seen in the galaxy before. I think, she says, I think we've seen. To
Yeah.
me, it's long overdue. If you've gotten talking droids and aliens, but no people of color, it doesn't make any sense. It's 2022,
Right.
that's a
Right.
terrible statement about Star Wars because
Right. Of course. And once again, they're trying to put us as the fans on the defensive where we actually have to provide this proof that we all know of. We all know it. Like, why should I even dignify this BS that she's talking about by pulling out a picture like this? If you don't know this enough to not say some nonsense like this, it just shows who you are. It shows that you don't belong here, just like Kathleen Kennedy, just like all of them. They've infiltrated what it is that we love. We've already gotten past this. We've already gotten past this. You know what I
I
mean?
yeah, I mean, I don't remember, like, Carl Weathers is probably closest to this timeline because he's in Mandalorian as far as shows coming out being released. I don't remember them saying that to him as well. It's like, hey, just so you know, if you
Right.
get criticized,
Yeah.
it's probably because of this toxic fandom. But I mean, I don't know why they threw a Tusken Raider there at the bottom.
Somebody got
Maybe
jokes.
just to try to keep it light and funny, but yeah. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, Billy D. Williams, the smoothest man in the galaxy, Mace Windu, probably the greatest Jedi duelist, one of the most powerful Jedi of all time, had the purple
Definitely the most
lightsaber.
badass. I'll tell you
I
that.
mean, it's and I loved it because I talked about this on the live stream. We got into some good Star Wars talk where I was like, he knocked down the Emperor. People were like, well, the Emperor let him. I was like, nah, dude, that was like,
Yeah.
he gave the
Yeah.
Emperor his scars. Like, you could go back and forth, but see, that's good Star Wars banter. Nobody was
Yes.
talking about anybody's skin color. It was talking about power levels and how did he do this, and did Mace Windu survive, and could he really be Anakin one-on-one? I was like, yeah, he could, and so on. So that's positive Star Wars talk. And I mean, you have all these other great characters in there too. It all comes back down to the Rose Tico character, because she came out and said she was bullied online, and so that's why she quit social media.
Did she say it or did they say it? That's
That's
the thing.
that is the
You know.
mystery about it all. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't really find much evidence of the bullying, and
No.
so you just were like, don't get me wrong, I believe it was there because I'm on the internet. I get bullied sometimes too.
That's
So
the thing. We all do. But I followed with a fine-tooth comb Miss Kelly Marie Tran. Every time she had an interview, I made it my business to go see. Is she going to talk about it? Is she going to talk about it? All she ever talked about was the media. the pressures that she felt when she was growing up, to fit in and, to suppress her accent, because that's what she felt like the industry wanted her to do. That's what she was talking about. You would think that, at least one of those interviews, she would have taken the opportunity to say, yeah, it was terrible, what I had to go through, with the fans, and the most cruel thing anybody ever said to me was, but I never saw that. Yet they
But
still keep invoking her name.
we people also bring up Jar Jar Binks, the actor who played Jar Jar Binks, who wanted to commit suicide. He's been on record saying that it wasn't the fans, it was the media and the pressure that they said you're the worst character and things like that. Every time he's gone to a convention, applause, cheers, love. And he's been on record saying that it really wasn't the fans that was bullying me. It was all the other things that came around, that came after him. So I wish someone would take a really huge, like, deep dive into all that and try to find some facts. But I want to play this last clip for you here. This was from Anna, that Star Wars girl, on her Twitter, where they talk about certain characters. This is the High Republic panel. The High Republic is the section of Star Wars where they put non-binary, trans Jedis, LGBTQ represent. That's where they put all that stuff. They throw it all in the High Republic. So this is the panel that's talking.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it just boils down to Star Wars is for everybody. And if you're not reflecting the people you see in the real world in your fantasy worlds, there's a problem. And I think it was really great that thank you. Let's clap for diversity.
Look at her eyes. She looks crazy.
Now, she said dinosaurs because there was a leak poster of how they're going to write the High Republic. And it was like no mention of war, and dinosaurs was on that poster. And when it leaked out, they started to make fun of that. That's why she said and dinosaurs. And they made it a big joke.
Yes. But I just think it's like that was for me the most exciting thing is because, as a kid, I got Lando.
Like, I mean, as a kid, she's already laughing. All right, we'll continue.
And then I got Mace Windu. Like, Mace Windu was solid. At least he was a Jedi instead of like a guy who was just trying to get into Leia's trousers.
So that's what they think of Lando Calrissian.
Yeah. That's how she boils it down.
She does. Yeah, we'll play the whole thing because I want everyone to be like, you didn't play the whole thing, Jay. She did say she was.
But like, I love Lando, you guys. I wrote the book.
Yeah, she saw the crowd kind of go, what? And you could see her go, I love him. I wrote a book. So
but yeah, so like I think it's just really nice to be able to include the people I know and love in my life and give them a character that reflects their identities as well.
So that was the end of that. That was the end of that there.
How does it reflect their identity though? Are they actually from Cloud City? Are they from did they work there? I mean, I don't get it.
She was talking about taking real world people and injecting it into Star Wars, a fantasy world, so you could see yourself there.
Now, how many people who are going to be watching this know where she messed up? How many people out there raising your hand? I'm sure a lot of you are raising your hands right now. Fantasy, reality. Okay, if you're in reality, then it's not fantasy. If you're in fantasy, it's not reality. That's where the breakdown is. This is what these people are not understanding. Like when she's saying, oh, it's 2022. It's not 2022. It's a galaxy far, far away. It's a long time ago. You take yourself away from this. That's what it is. When you fantasize, you're not fantasizing about your plumber showing his butt crack. You're fantasizing about something just a little bit more, nice to your senses, I would think. That's what they're not understanding. The escapism.
That's the thing. If I came out, like, this is the problem, and this is why we bring up Reva, because they don't want you to criticize her, because if you do, then you're a bad person. But yet, they just criticized Lando and said, that's the guy that tried to get into Leia's pants.
Yeah.
like stereotype or whatever she wanted to say, that's the guy that tried to get into Leia's pants. Not the guy that blew up the second Death Star, not the guy that put a plot and plan together to rescue Han, who snuck in as a spy, became a general of the rebellion, flew the Falcon,
right.
And was part of that. He's the guy.
And of course, the fact that it was, this character was played by Billy D. Williams, and that was actually him being a pioneer at that time, so you would just completely disregard his character, disregard his contribution, just make it a whole throwaway thing, just shows me where she's coming from. Very, very disrespectful.
But that's the sad reality we live in Star Wars. And I think because of statements like this, that is reflecting on some of the fandom where they're like, you're disrespecting a character, you must be a bad person. It's like, it's just kind of like, oh man.
And I can
Where do we go from here, Mark? Where do we go from here?
Man, these people got to get squashed. I'll tell you that. You know what I mean? These people have to be out of here, man. But I will say this about Lando and, Billy D. I remember, when I first saw that character, I swear to you that the only thing I was thinking was, first of all, is he really going to fight Han? Because remember the way he came out, and everything. He's like, oh, you showing yourself around here. And then, that, hello, what have we here? And then his line delivery and everything. He was just a cool ass character.
Yeah.
And I can promise you, I never once said, it's so nice to see someone who looks like me. Oh my gosh. No, I loved all of these characters. I loved that world. They took me away from where I was, and they brought us all together in that way. Because, in the years that pass, you meet other people who are passionate about Star Wars. I mean, that's how we got this community here. We found each other through our passion and through our love, not through these check boxes and all that stuff that these people are talking about. Oh, it should reflect the real world. No real Star Wars fan ever felt that way. Yeah.
Dude, when Mace Windu, when they said he had like a purple lightsaber, I wanted to be Mace Windu. I went out and got the purple lightsaber. I didn't see myself as the bald man. I saw myself as Mace Windu, the greatest Jedi duelist. How awesome. And I hung that purple lightsaber up on my wall because it was that awesome. And it wasn't like, I'm not going to hang it up because he was a black man and I'm white, so I shouldn't hang that up in my. It's like the thinking. It's just like, who thinks like that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Lando Calrissian was one of the few people to literally look at Darth Vader and be like, hey, that's not what you told me. Even though Darth Vader was like, so you feel you're being treated just a little unfairly? Hey, excuse my voice, it's allergies, but he was like, no, it just was like, not too many people stood up to Vader and lived. You know what I mean? He literally was just like, hey, he like stopped them and was just like, hey, this ain't what you promised me. Yeah, you told me he wasn't giving my best friend to this bounty hunter. And see, that started to reflect the character, because you see Lando, he betrays his friends, but he kind of throws that line in, they arrived before you do, I had no choice. You know what I mean? Trying to save face.
Yeah.
Then
you watch his
performance. Leia, like, hey, we're going to rescue Han while Chewbacca's choking him.
Yeah.
And it's just,
he totally sold it, man. He totally
character.
sold it. Yeah. You could tell, he was, he was regretful, as the story went on. You could tell, like I said, he totally nailed it, like what he needed to do. Because first you were mad at him because he did betray Han, but then you started to see that he really felt bad about it and everything, but he was in over his head.
He was trying to do the right thing. Yeah.
He was just a good character.
And he was so slick with it. You saw him like, beep, 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 like hitting the Apple Watch, getting the troops ready. Like, and then he helped the city, like pulled that. He's like, everybody leave the city. The Empire's here. To go in front of thousands of people and say, well, we need more diversity because Lando, all we got was Lando, a guy that wanted to go into Leia's pants. Like these people do not know Star Wars, man.
No,
And that's why
no.
we get terrible acting from someone like Reva, or who will come out and make statements. You know, the actor will come out and make statements like it's the most diverse show ever in Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes I really do think that these people are operatives. You know, I did the video a while back about Christina Ariel or whatever, and I said that it was something more than just racist. You know, on her part, I think that these people are actually, it's part of their objective to be divisive. It's part of their objective to cause bad feelings. You know, when you hear the music of John Williams, when you think of all of the good Star Wars that we've gotten over the years, you feel great. You feel great. We had fun. There's no fun anymore. You don't feel great anymore with the new stuff that they're doing, and they're determined to prove or to pass it off like we're toxic in this fandom
because we
you
don't
know?
like a certain thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're determined to do that. And unfortunately, you know, the danger is there that we fall into the trap, that we do start to turn on one another. Like the guy that you just showed the tweet there. You know, I'm gonna need y'all to you know, shut the F up or whatever he was saying. Like you can't be of this fandom talking like that. I'm gonna need y'all to shut the F up. You know, you're being disrespectful to people you don't even know, and you're not regarding people who even look like you. There's no dialogue at all, you know, where you're just accepting and respectful of the people who grew up with this. We never had this problem, and I refuse to be distracted and deflected with that section that might be, you know, there might
Yeah.
be some hateful people out there. All right,
Yeah.
but leave that over there. That's not what we're talking about. If I want to critique the show and you want to critique the show, you should be allowed to do that without people deflecting to people out there who hate. That's just the world. That's just the world. There's people out in the world who do hate. That's not
Yeah.
what we're talking about here. The woman's acting is stiff. It's wooden. And,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about when she says that, oh, you know, there's been no diversity in Star Wars up until now. What, we can't call her out for that? You're wrong. You're wrong. And because you're wrong, you prove to us that you don't belong here. I'm not going to apologize for that. Nobody should. And you were talking about what we do from here. That's what we do. We just tell the truth. We
Yeah.
keep telling the truth. These people just want everybody to just shut up and redefine what this is until it's something completely, it's ugly. Something that used to be so beautiful and so enjoyable that we could share.
I know, man.
Yeah. It's disgusting, man. You know, it truly is. And that's the reason why they don't want to talk to, you know, like George Lucas. You know, they're talking about, well, you know, he sold it now, so we can do whatever we want to do with it. But there's a vision, there's a philosophy behind this. And the man is still here, you know, so why not find out what his inspiration is so you can honor it even better? You know, this is not a Filoni's show. This is not Deborah Chow's show. They just picked it up, but this man created it. So, you know what I mean? And he must have done something right, because he did bring us all together.
Yeah, I did.
He saved lives. These people saved lives with what they gave us. And now they're turning it into something ugly. I'm going to need y'all to shut the F up. I don't care what he said after that. He said what he meant that first time. And he's not the only one. The internet is
No.
littered with this crap now.
Yeah. That's why I was saying, like, this tweet is very reflective of so many others that's out there. So it's interesting fandom.
And people are falling into the trap by going at Moses Ingram, you know, in a way that is unfortunately, it can be seen as racist.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, because she is out there to be inflammatory, I do believe that she is. You know, I do believe it, because like I said, they never would have started off by saying, prepare yourself for the racist backlash.
Yeah.
We didn't even see it yet. And she started making these statements in the press. What were we supposed to do? What she said was wrong. And then she starts talking about, you know, diversity, that other clown that you had up there a minute ago, you know, talking about, you know, let's hear for diversity. Are you out of your mind? You don't belong here. These people, they don't. And they're there for a reason.
We just write amazing stories, and it all just flows together.
Yeah.
It just really does. It just write good stories that we can all get behind, and people just start to fall in love with different characters. You know, like you look at the original, even prequels, people fall in love with characters. You know, like they don't fall in love with Luke all the time. Maybe it's Han, maybe it's Chewie, maybe it's C-3PO, maybe it's R2D2, freaking Ewoks. I don't know, but people, like, we saw that like there was like fan groups of all these different special characters. You know, the Emperor, Vader, all those things. The you know, that one Imperial guard, that the Emperor's guards, like all that's, it's so cool. Like
Or
how
the
Star
action
Wars fandom
sequences too, Jay.
was. Yeah.
I was thinking about the chase with the speeder bikes, through the forest of Endor. Dude, bro, that meant everything to me when I was a kid. Just the sound, you know, it just takes me back. I loved it, loved it, loved it. You know what I mean? Anytime I watch it, I'm just like, it's almost like getting into a time machine, you know?
Yeah.
And you know that, I get emotional because I shared that with my brother and stuff like that. And we all have stories like that, So like I said, you don't have that now. You don't have that sense of magic now. Like everything is now either you like it or you're just a terrible person. And then we fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just like, fingers crossed. I guess you could always try to have hope somewhere out there. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below about Reva, the character, please, and all these other wild statements. Again, you can check out Mark. It's in the pinned comment below or in the top of the description. Thanks for hanging out with me, Mark, as we talk about some crazy Star Wars stuff out there. Crazy.
Yeah,
Get
hold
better.
on tight,
Come on,
guys.
Star Wars.
Hold on tight. Hold on to each other. We're part of this community, okay? Apologize for nothing. You don't have to be on the defensive. You don't have to keep showing all of the black people who have been in Star. We know this. So don't give these people any more credibility if you can help it. And like I said, stick together, because that seems to be what their objective is, to drive people apart. So before you hit send on that tweet or video or whatever, just remember, this is a community that we all came up in. We all love Star Wars. Let it be about love. Let it be about hope. Don't let these people get into our hearts and tear us apart, and our children. We owe each other better than that. Thanks, Jay.
Well said. We'll catch you next time.